Yeah, I'll just have a Raiders war cry, please. Wheel of Iron. It is. No, I said war cry. War cry. Will W-I. All right, welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super card game video. I swear those memes are killing me. If you have any more memes in the comments below, let me know. Let me see them, because that's probably the best part of this reprint shenanigans. And before I continue, what I will say, if you haven't really caught up, I'm going to catch you up on all of the reprint stuff, the updates, and a couple other things and my thoughts behind them. Let me know what you think about the reprints. Are we missing anything? Obviously, yes. And what do you think? What do you think reprints do for the game? Basically, is it good? Is it bad? Etc. Let me know in the comments below, and we can get right into it. So, what has been updated? The first thing on the left is going to be the errata for the Cell Android Absorber, Hayden's favorite card, obviously, the Eggman. So, if you didn't know already, there is a possible loop in which, if you have the right requirements, basically you can keep paying the cost, as in 1 green, to play this, well, basically to play the card, but not really playing the card, because the part of the card's cost is to choose 1 card, or the opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and place in a drop area, and you can keep doing that even though you're not playing the actual Cell Absorber for the duration of the turn, because you're just paying the cost. And now it's been errated in which you can't use the Activate Main skill for the duration of the turn. It's basically being played as intended. This is no surprise. The Eggman, Hayden, he already knew about this. He made a whole video about it. When I was talking about it a little while ago, I completely said, I think in the Discord and as well as in the video, that it's probably gonna get errata, and that's gonna be the end of it. There's no ifs, ands, there's no wonderment about it. Anyway, the biggest change here is going to be the anniversary box coming out in the month of July. I want to say, I do believe it's the month of July, and as you can see, there's one for pretty much every color, including the multicolors, as you can see here, ranging from Champa, which has now been reprinted probably 3 or 4 times, which is kind of ridiculous. Topo, which is a really good reprint if you ask me, because honestly, it's an uncommon that ranges from 10 to 15 to even $20 I've seen. Now it's sort of fluctuating and probably going to go down in price by the time you watch this video. And then we have Hidden Awakening Talent Pan, in which it came from the World Martial Arts box. I think this is a good reprint simply because it is a theme booster. It hasn't really had too much relevance overall for the World Martial Arts box, but I think it's going to be a good reprint simply because it is sort of like a blue staple. If you want good awakening, or just cheap awakening, something to attack with, and a rival fodder, Pan is going to be the girl for you. But these next 2 are kind of questionable, simply because Comrades Combined Goku has not really been played in any competitive aspect, or really, like, even for casual decks, it's really hard to play because it is a 3-drop 15k that counterplays now in this current format, and probably for the last 3 formats. It's really hard to kind of stick and get the auto off. But what I will say is that there might be some cards coming out of the anniversary set, which is something that a lot of people are kind of forgetting. Like, this is not a reprint set, this is an anniversary set. And what I will say before I continue is that it is a product, and Bandai wants to sell things, right? If you don't want to buy it, then don't buy it. Speak with your wallet, right? The thing about Bandai is that they are a business, and if they don't make money from this, or if they don't make enough money from it, or their sales decline, they will change the way that they want to do things in the future, right? So if you really aren't happy with the reprints, or if you're not happy with any of the products that are coming up, just don't buy them. And that's as simple as that. That's going to be the most effective thing that you can do. It doesn't really matter anything else. Anyway, Comrades Combined Goku, I think there's going to be some support in the anniversary box, so that's probably why that's there. Familiar Bonds, I don't know why this got a reprint. It's going to be cool to have alternative art. If you're wondering, these question marks are all the alternative arts for that. For each reprinted card, basically. It's a cool card. It's a really good card. I don't see why it got reprinted. And then we have UI Goku, the 4-drop that basically bounces anything. It's getting less and less play, or having a less and less play, but it's a really good reprint simply because it's just sort of, it's a draft box card, which if we look at this one and we look at really all the draft box cards down here, they're all really good picks for reprints simply because they're just expensive for being a draft box card, having a low print, high playability sort of aspect to them or factors to them. And the Ultra Instinct Goku is no stranger to that, so this is a really good pick. Now we go to the other ones, in which all of these are pretty much commons except for the Bardock over here. The Elegant Hellas should be basically a common because you can get out of the previous anniversary set, so it's kind of like a sort of weird weird double reprint there, I guess. I don't know. And then Preemptive Strike, I don't know why this got reprinted over, like, let's say Hidden Potential, because the Hidden Potential got out as the, you know, the expansion box, where the Preemptive Strike is a theme booster, less playable counterplay, basically. So I guess it would be cool to have an alternative art. That's pretty much my positive side to all of these, basically, including Hellas and including Planet Vegeta. Now, the meme that's going around, of course, is the Will of Iron instead of the Raider's Warcry, which this, and as well as the Great Ape Goku, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later, aren't in the reprints, and these are all pretty much all the reprints. I don't know if there's any more, but from what I can see and from the numbers that they've given us, these are pretty much all the ones that we're going to see. And Will of Iron, I know there's going to be some more Bardock stuff. I know there's going to be some more Ape stuff coming out this anniversary set. And if we take a look at the news article, I think if I can pull it up here, I will. There are a number of things. Where there's going to get support, and Apes is going to be one of them most likely. Then we have Oob, which is nice. This and as well Mutaito, both being reprinted since they're both power boosters. It's nice to have. That's all I can say. Then we have the draft box cards. The most playable ones are probably going to be the Hercule Buu, the Goku Gohan, and then the second most playable ones are going to be Champa and as well as Krillin 18. I'm not mad at these at all. These are just really good reprints. Same thing for Vegeta Time Regulator. I think Mira is going to be cool just to have more Toa / Overrealm support in the anniversary box, since we really didn't have any Overrealm / Toa support other than like the mono black cards in the last two sets. And then of course Bojack, which we're gonna have more Bojack support, right? That's pretty much all for the reprints. You know, I think overall they're good picks, but they could be better, right? I think it's good that they're incorporating the archetypes that they're doing for the anniversary box, but I want to know the criteria that they wanted to, or that they're using in order to reprint the draft box stuff, and as well as the power boosters, because we still have other power boosters, we still have other promos, we still have other draft box cards in which could or should be reprinted, right? Let me know what you think about these. Now, before I continue with really anything else, I kind of want to break down the pros and cons of reprints. Now, for any company and for really any player as well, you kind of have to weigh the pros and cons. So when we're talking about the pros and the good things that come out of it is, you know, easier access to more expensive high demand cards, and for that, and as well as the next 2 points for promoting deck diversity and better for new players, that kind of go in hand, in which if you do have easier to access cards, as in Goku Gohan or Topo or whatever, that means those type of archetypes or those colors could be more played, or going to be more played, and that promotes the deck diversity for a lot of different players because they couldn't get those due to the cost or the availability of those cards. Now that they're more available, you're going to see more decks basically playing those, so it's kind of like an easy trade-off there, right? And same thing for same thing for new players, simply because if you went to your local shop and you got someone, which I've done this before, like I've had to have this talk before a number of times, and now that I had to, can't do my own horn, but now I'm known for who I am, right? For the channel and everything, and for helping others. I'm more of the person to get that. So from the first-hand experience, it's kind of hard to tell someone like, hey, you're playing this deck, you can buy these cards, but watch out for these cards, even though they can make your deck, as in like the Great Ape Goku, because you're lacking draw power for Cell Surge, or the Great Ape, the Raider's Warcry, because you are you're playing Jiren, but you're not really using the maximum potential of it, or Goku and Gohan, even though you're playing Hand Destruction and blue-green, you know, those type of things. It's really hard to have that conversation and tell them like, hey, you're gonna have to spend like $100 if you really want to make this deck good for a playset, or $150 or $200, right? Now, if we have more cards in the market, or at least more cards available, either through a product or through the secondary market, which we're gonna look at here, you know, it's easier to say like, hey, you can go ahead and buy that product over there, and now you have a chance to get to the reprints, or it's going to be a guaranteed reprint, which this one I don't think it's guaranteed, but you do get I think 4 packs with 2 of them each, I want to say. Either way, it's really good to have that. And then we have the card economy and as well as secondary market. Those are sort of like self-explanatory, I feel like, simply because, you know, the more cards that are available out there, the supply and demand, you increase the supply, and the demand is met basically. Now you're not having listings for hundreds of dollars, or 50 or 20 or 10 or whatever for a common. Now you have reasonable listings, or at least reasonable trades, whatever it may be. Now the cons. So the biggest con for a lot of people is going to be the devaluation. So I don't think anybody should be playing this card game, or really any other card game, for the money. I don't think so. I don't think that's a really good idea. I advise against it. And there's a sort of like a double-edged sword to valuation. So when you buy a product, you want to not waste your money, right? So if let's say you buy a car and you're like, okay, I paid $20,000 for it, and then a year later, now it's $15,000. You just lost $5,000 in value. It's the same thing for cards, in which you buy a number of cards, and then the reprint comes a month or 2 later, in which, you know, games like Yu-Gi-Oh! And games like Magic or whatever do that, in which, you know, if it has like a high playability, which I'm not going to say I have years of experience, someone can correct me on that stuff, they're going to reprint it. And because of that, there's more available cards for that, and people are going to be selling it, etc. That is the biggest reason for reprints, or for not calling for reprints. I'm for reprints. I'm pretty neutral in general, but if I had to pick a choice, it's going to be for reprints. I don't really care too much about the valuation of my cards, simply because I shouldn't expect that. I want to expect that the cards are playable and has a reasonable resellability, or at least keep its value for itself, right? But you can't really have everything. So I want to have more conversations about that. So let me know what you think in the comments. The other part of it is missing cards. So again, the Great Ape Goku, the Radiant's Warcry, and a number of other draft box cards that could be reprinted aren't there, as well as for this anniversary box, right? That's a big point. And then more money spent in order to get something that may not be guaranteed, and the quotes are, or the parentheses are, just buy singles, in which, you know, you could be buying a product and you buy the packs, and then the reprints come in those packs, and it's sort of like, you know, you don't know if you're actually gonna get that or not. I don't think they're guaranteed, so that's a huge con. And then buying product that may include unimportant cards, in which you're going for a Topo, but then you get a Planet Vegeta. You're going for a Goku and Gohan, you get a preemptive strike, right? So that is a huge thing, and that's why buying singles is going to be a huge thing, and which is why the card economy and as well as secondary market decreases, is simply because for those cards being put on the market, for those who bought the product or don't want that product, will actually let those who need it, who want to buy singles, get it. And then the one thing I don't think people really consider, because we haven't really talked too much about it and hasn't really been a concrete thing, is rotation. And in the future, reprints might be specifically legal if rotation happens. So what that means is that, let's say Topo over here, this big boy right here, that 4-drop might not be legal for rotation, as in it got rotated out, but the reprint might be legal for that, as in the alternative art, or at least the card number out of the anniversary set. And the reason why that's important is because when you actually do that, the card that you have, as in being being rotated out, basically, which is one of the reasons why a lot of people don't want rotation, is now useless, basically. And now you have to go get the anniversary set version in order to play that card. I don't think we're ever going to have that issue, is simply because I don't think Bandai wants rotation. but it is a possible thing. We are in a very, very early stage of the game. I said this in the year 1. I've said it in year 2. We're going into year 3, and it's still applicable. And we still have a lot of work to do, a lot of space for the game itself. But anything is possible. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments below. So what's next? What is next for us is what I'm asking here. So there's a few things to consider. The first thing is that even before the release date, which is July for the anniversary set, in June we're gonna have set 10. Before that, we're gonna have draft box 5. Now, because of that, we might not even need to worry about reprints at that point, right? Simply because that the cards in set 10 or the cards in draft box 5 may put those cards null and void, in which the ones that are going to be less powerful, let's say, or we're going to have more counters for that, or we're going to have cards that put, I don't know, like we're just going to have, we don't really know what the new format is going to be between now and July, right? And it could be a format that won't change much, and that could be more reason to reprint things. And the other thing is that we don't really know what's in the anniversary set in the first place. So we have 35 new cards, we have the vaults, which is the reprints, and then obviously other stuff. But the 35 new cards is going to be pretty interesting to see, because the last anniversary set that we had actually did pretty well to boost up some of the decks that a lot of people wanted to play. And I don't know if it's going to be competitively viable, because a lot of the cards that were in that anniversary set, other than like Hellas and a few others, aren't really the best. So hopefully this time around it's going to be a little bit better, and then hopefully it's going to be a pretty good value. I personally love the anniversary sets. It allows me to play some of the most like my favorite cards, but that's just me. Now in the future, currently right now we have the draft box, or the draft tournament champions, the top 2, I do believe, in the finalists, get to choose the Super Saiyan 2 Broly Unforeseen Force, which is a promo card only in the expansion tournaments. Same thing for the Goku Black, in which I do believe this is for top 4 for the regionals right now. So those 2 cards are being reprinted technically in high stakes value. So is Bandai only going to be doing that for higher value cards, or higher sought out cards, as in the Great Ape Goku, the Radius War card, etc., right? Are we going to see that in a continuation for the coming months? That is a very big possibility. The other thing is that the event packs for Event Fat 6 still have not been released, or we haven't really seen them. I might be wrong with that, but as far as my searching, I haven't seen anything for Event Bat 6. So that is another option, or another thing to watch out for as far as reprints go. It doesn't have to be explicitly through a product or a new product, but it could be through events, it could be through tournaments, it could be through packs like these, etc. And those are kind of the 2 things that you have to watch out for, is that it could be printed anywhere else, and the format could be completely different. Bottom line, there's a lot of options. But what do you think? Again, I've said it a number of times throughout the video. I talked a good amount, not too much, I feel like. But let me know in the comments below. Like, dislike, become a sponsor. Only $1. Join the Discord. And I'll see you in the next one. Later.